So for the last year or so, as Steve said, we've been married. This has been a marriage, the county legislature and the executive. And two of the worst punishments or stresses that you could put on a marriage are finances, usually financial related, or housing or moving related. And what you've seen with the county this year is you see the same plan that was started a month before I took office, move forward throughout 2014, moving forward to where we are today. So at least one of those issues seems to be moving forward and moving away from our table so we can get to other important news. So let's start with some of the main things that we have to do as county government for you, the public. Economic development. When I became county executive, I pledged that economic development would not be pushed off to other staff. I would meet and I would work on this head on. I would be part of the table. I would be sitting at the table. I would be taking the leadership role with my partners in economic development, the IDA, and the Orange County Partnership. So before I go any further, I'd like to mention two people that are part of our economic team. Number one is Maureen Hallahan. Maureen is the executive director of the Orange County Partnership. We are really the face of economic development. Another organization that we work very close with is Lindsay Owen. Here's Maureen right here. Maureen, please stand so everybody knows you. I saw your staff and I got lost for a minute. The next one is Lindsay Owen, who's the president of the Chamber of Commerce, the new head. Lynn, please stand up. She's brand new. She's got less time under her belt than I do, and we all work very close together with the business community moving things forward. So let's talk about some of the things happening in Orange County in economic development. Here is Maureen and I with the Takasago Company. These guys opened their doors in June of last year in Harriman, in an empty building, used to be former Manhattan Beer Distributors building. They are now there, $21 million investment, 100 people pretty much working, more to come. Positive things happening down there. United National Foods Incorporated, UNFI, this is in the town of town of Montgomery, over 200 jobs, more to come, $60 million capital investment. Coach USA, now this is near and dear to my heart. This started when I was supervisor in Chester. It has now opened its doors in 2014, and they have three really important impacts besides what you think they are for property taxes. Number one, hundreds of jobs. Number two, which a lot of people don't know, is they took ownership of the park and rides. Orange County used to manage and maintain many of the park and rides in Orange County. So I see my buddy Chris Vibrock in the back, who runs our public works. Now that allowed us to take some of the resources away from those facilities that we used to maintain and start adjusting to the early retirement incentive we had earlier last year. So that was a saving for taxpayer dollars and allowed us to reallocate our resources. The last thing is we're already having discussions with Coach USA to provide transportation for Orange County residents to go to Sullivan County to work at the Montreal Casino, the casino that was selected in Sullivan County. Those discussions are already happening, and I will tell you right now that we already got an initial positive response. Literally, the CEO of Coach USA said, of course we're going to be doing this. We look forward to doing this. We look forward to expanding it. We look forward to working with Orange County government to make this happen. So this is good, positive stuff. We're going to get into that in a little bit. Angry Orchard Beer Company. They purchased the Crisp Apple Farm in Montgomery, a beautiful piece of property, which was an apple farm, ran through many generations of the Crisp family. They're going to be opening in 2015. They just received their final approval, $6 million investment. They're moving their R&D facility from Boston to Orange County. The next one is Kicker Frosh, another company that's near and dear to my heart. They were, when I was supervisor still, they were coming to look at the area. Kyle Roddy, the mayor in Goshen, took the torch, and that facility is going in Goshen, a stone's throw from where we are right now. 80 new jobs, $29 million capital investment. Town of Walk Hill, my friend Dan DePue, the supervisor up there, was successful in landing this. This will be the third project that Pratt & Whitney is doing for the town of Walk Hill. What does this mean? These are high-tech jobs. The aerospace industry, the Department of Defense, the F-35 Raptor, the new fighter jet for the military, the components, some of them are made here in Orange County, and they're expanding their operation. 100 new manufacturing jobs, and I'm talking about highly skilled manufacturing jobs, as well as a $140 million capital investment. Very popular, very positive project. Orange Regional Medical Center, one of the growing industries in Orange County is our healthcare end. And what you see in Orange County Regional Medical Center right now, 163,000 square foot expansion, 11,000 square foot dedicated to cancer, and $100 million capital investment, another positive sign in Orange County. Crystal Run Healthcare, another healthcare company that's really taken the industry by storm nationwide on their preventative care and their model of treating patients. 65,000 square foot facility under construction today in Newburgh right now, 225 new healthcare jobs. We're talking about doctors, nurses, the jobs that we would be proud to have our kids to have. $22 million capital investment. Other companies coming, Steris over in my hometown of Chester. They came and met with us with the Economic Development Team, the partnership, and the IDA. 61,000 square foot expansion, 135 jobs, and $20 million capital investment. Cabela's, popular for the outdoors people, myself included, 90,000 square foot facility, going into Woodbury, 170 jobs. The Loop over in Newburgh, the Hudson Valley Loop as they call it, 650,000 square foot outdoor market, over 1,100 new jobs, $150 million in capital investment. Woodbury Common, I'd be remiss if I didn't mention it. $170 million expansion, over 20 new stores, and a parking garage that's already open right now that's alleviating some of the traffic issues going on there. Very positive for Orange County. We also have another industry that's been thriving in Orange County, which is the film industry. The bottom left here, you'll see a guy, his name is Mark Strong. He was one of the leads in the movie Zero Dark 30. They shot a film here about a year ago in this facility. Over here you see Paul Sorvino from Goodfellas. He's shot a movie here early this year, which is dealing with the Iran hostage situation. That's going to be debuted in Middletown at the Paramount Theater at the Hoboken Film Festival in May. Then the last guy, I don't know if anybody recognizes him, that's Kevin Bacon from Footloose. He filmed a show about 2 weeks ago, the second time coming to Orange County in the last year, for the show called The Following, which is a very popular show on network TV. What does this all mean? And why is this important? We get money from these people when they come here. They pay for reimbursement to any staff if they're utilizing any county staff. They also, I'll give you an example with just The Following 2 weeks ago. They booked the 2 hotels where Chili's and TJ Fridays are in Walk Hill. Both hotels booked out, and the restaurants saw traffic for 3-4 days from these people. I believe they had over 170 cast and crew that came in there with it. This is no small operation. So this is a positive industry, and this is only a sampling of what we've seen in the last year of films that came here, and famous actors, real A-name actors. So let's talk about Orange County government and what we can do to help economic development. This is one of the problems. When I took office, it took 120 days for us to pay vendors. 120 days. You give the county a bill, you get your check back 120 days later. Since January of this year, we've changed that. We've narrowed it down to 30 days, and now bills are paid 75% faster. Orange County can attract now local and small businesses because of this. Why is that? What small business can go out 120 days without paying their employees, without paying their vendors? This has really changed things in Orange County. And so let me give you a couple examples. First thing is Dagley Produce. They are a local business in Warwick. I see my friend Mike Sweeten in the audience, the supervisor over there. It's one of his businesses that locate their farm. They have fresh fruits and vegetables that are now provided to our seniors. This saves us thousands of dollars by buying local. Frank, you're in the audience. Where are you, Frank? Please stand up. Last time I saw him, he had jeans on. I think I did too. We are happy to be doing business with you, sir. Thank you very much. The next one is M&R Energy Resources. So what do they do? Orange County and most of the local municipalities, I see a lot of supervisors. I see Mike Hayes, John Rosano, a couple of them in the audience. We all, most of us, if not everybody should be, deal with energy brokers to try to get a reduced rate for our utilities. If we're not doing it, businesses, private sector, even homeowners are utilizing companies like M&R Energy Resources. We brought them on in Orange County. Since April of last year and today, in February, we saved $900,000 in our bills. This is real savings for taxpayers. This is really what it's all about. So Ralph Martucci, I see you in the audience. I know you're also a leader in the Orange County Chamber, but please stand up. I want you to be recognized from M&R Energy. Thank you. So let's talk about tourism. One of the things that I think Orange County has neglected to really show the love to is tourism. What you see over here is we spend $642,000 on tourism, and then you see our neighboring counties, which are even significantly smaller than us, and spend a lot more than we do on tourism. And where do we get our money for tourism? A few years ago, we came up, or the county came up, with a bed tax. Every hotel, motel, B&B pays a special tax, right, for their beds. It averages a little bit under $3 million, maybe a little over $3 million every year, and we put in this. So imagine yourself as a B&B owner, or a hotel owner, or a restaurant, or a motel owner. You're paying this extra tax to your customers, and this is how much is getting returned for you. I believe that we need to grossly change this, and I'm going to be proposing to increase this significantly in the 2016 budget. I think the legislature will be happy to see this. Every dollar that we put in to tourism comes back many folds after that. So we are significantly located. Look at all the different major arteries, roads, transportation here. We also have an international airport, and the county is flanked on either side by two major rivers, the Delaware and the Hudson. Well, so what do we have to offer for tourism in Orange County? Well, the legislators and I took a little bit of a tour. We have West Point. Mike Amo loves the Brotherhood Winery. We have Chris, Mike, and I went to the Apple Fest, Michael, visiting you. And then Steve and I at the gateway between Orange County and Sullivan County with the Delaware River below. Melissa Bonasek loves to go to the castle down in Chester. Obviously, Steve's having a good time with me there as well. And we have wonderful historical places that we can be taking advantage of and highlighting for going forward. You have to laugh a little bit so to make things go along. So, last year I talked about casinos. We were talking about locating one, hopefully, here in Orange County. It didn't happen, but we had one located just north of us, which is going to have a significant regional impact for not only Orange County, not only Sullivan County, but Ulster and the whole Hudson Valley. So we have an opportunity to work with Orange County hotels, restaurants, stores, so we can benefit from this. And Orange County is leading the way to hire minorities, women, and veterans to work at this facility. One of the main things that they need to do to operate over there. So let's talk about what we've done before that. Well, Charlie Degliomini, Charlie, please stand up. Charlie's the Vice President of Montreal. We're happy to have you here today. Charlie has rolled out the red carpet to Orange County to provide our residents with jobs at his facility, as well as our companies there. We've worked together with the Orange County Partnership and the Chamber of Commerce. We've already had a roundtable with the Board of Directors on how we're going to start rolling those out as the jobs come. This will be in operation in 2 years. This is going to be a quick turnaround. So we have to get on our A game to do this. So why is it important? Where do we fit in here, guys? Orange County is one of the most diverse places in the state. We have all different types of people here. We have minority, women-owned businesses. We also have an unusually large amount of veterans, 23,000 veterans in Orange County, all that could be having the opportunity to work up at the Montreal Casino. And you heard me mention earlier with Coach USA, you can marry it with some transportation benefits. This is how you get things done and move in a positive direction. So take a responsibility. When I took office, we had a number of issues that were on the backs of myself and the legislature to address, many issues. So one of them was to get common ground with our unions. We started that, and we're going to continue to move that forward. So all 6 of the union contracts when I took office were expired, every one of them. We just settled the Corrections Officers Union, which was the 2nd largest union in Orange County. We settled that recently. We settled the 2 unions that represent SUNY Orange, and we're hoping that we can settle these other 3. You mentioned, now you're probably seeing, Steve, we don't see the math here. You said you had 6, now you got 7. A new union was formed a few weeks ago, but we had to add that in for accuracy. So we're happy to move forward on it. This is positive steps. A smaller government that works. We adopted a budget at the end of last year. This is a 2015 budget that cut $30 million in spending. The single largest cut, at least in 40 years. That's as far as they'll let me go back. We have the smallest government workforce in decades, and now we're looking at consolidating departments. One of the departments we're looking at is General Services and IT, Department of Social Services and Mental Health, and we have more that are under discussion. These are positive steps. We're going to keep trying things. We might not always work, we might not always be successful, but we're going to keep trying things to make a better government for you. So let's look at what that budget did to us, the 2015 budget. Well, we worked underneath the tax cap law, which is working. The county taxes are down in more than half of the towns in Orange County. Every other town is below the tax cap. And our tax base is expanding for the first time since 2008. This is a critical thing to know. So for the first time since 2008, our tax base is growing. I stood here last year and told you that Orange County's tax base has shrunk 25% since 2008. We're finally starting to turn the corner on that and head in a positive direction. And the forecasting going forward is also looking on that trend. This is good, positive stuff. It's a sign of a healthy, growing economy. So how are we going to close the gap? We still have budget issues. I'm not trying to paint some rainbows and sunshine. We still have a lot of work we need to do. So we had a $12 million gap starting this year. We already adjusted it down to $9 million with Medicaid savings. The bad news when we ended up last year was the budget for 2014, which was there before I got there, had overestimated sales tax by $9.3 million. It's a lot of money. The good news is last year's budget had $50 million in surplus budgeted to get through the year. We only used $25 million of it. We were able, by bringing in the reins and holding the line on spending, only spend $25 million instead of the $50 million we're budgeting. That's a good success for my office and the legislature. That is a positive thing for the county government. It shows that you really can cut spending and hold the line on things. So, closing the budget gap going forward for this year. I'm going to propose a second round of early retirement incentives, renegotiate county leases. The county leases properties all over the place. I want to get out of these leases, and the leases that we're forced to stay in, that we need to stay in certain geographic locations, renegotiate them and renegotiate them at a better rate. The last thing is, Orange County is in, I want to get us out of real estate business. Last year I instructed the Office of Real Property and Planning to come up with a portfolio, do a study of all the properties we own. What do we need to keep? What can we market? What can we get rid of and put back on the tax rolls? They came up with that report, and this year I am tasking them with marketing them so we can now sell those properties and put them back on the tax rolls. These are good, positive things. One other thing I have to mention is the Contract Evaluation Review Team, headed up by Deputy County Executive Wayne Booth and Jim Burpo. These group of individuals renegotiate existing contracts that the county has, and we have over 1,800 of them. They renegotiate existing contracts. They also sharpen the pencil on the new contracts going forward. So last year, you also remember standing here with phone book-sized books of infrastructure studies that were done on a county that were sitting on a shelf. I am proud to say, working with the legislature, we have now moved forward on the 1841 building in Goshen, the court annex building in Goshen, and we're also working on the Board of Elections building in Goshen. All buildings that we owned, all of them that had all sorts of issues, structural issues, that are all under construction today as we speak. We need to restore and reuse the county properties that we own instead of renting all over the place. So, let's talk about the Public Works Department. We maintain over 300 miles of roads in Orange County. We just got through, and I think everybody in this room will agree with me, one of the worst winter storms and winter seasons we've had to deal with that I can remember. So I would like to, at this time, this is Chris Vibrock sitting in the back room, our Commissioner of Public Works. Chris, I'd like to give a shout out to you. Please stand up so everybody sees you for the great work you and your men and women did this year. It was a tough year, and I appreciate everything your department did. So, let's talk about Public Works going forward. 2015 will be the most ambitious infrastructure project schedule that we've had, I think, in the last 10 years in Orange County. Let's talk about some of them. We own about 150 bridges in Orange County. We've been fixing about 1 bridge a year for the last 10 years. We should have been fixing 2 bridges a year to keep up with maintenance on them. So now we have a lot of work to get caught up on. So what do you see going on today? The Forge Hill Bridge over in my friend Chris Ekis' neighborhood and Kevin Hines has been out since Hurricane Irene. That's under construction now. It'll be open in August. Scotchtown Avenue Bridge, the gateway between Goshen and Walk Hill, has been a single lane road. I'm sure you all been on it. You probably cursed to yourself when you got stuck at the red light. That is under construction now. They already started grubbing and clearing for that area, and that will finally be fixed and addressed. Furthermore, we are trying to add another 2 or 3, weather permitting, so we could possibly start working or complete 3 to 5 bridges this year to start catching up on that. So, Chris, I tasked you with that, and you met that task with a smile. I know you probably cursed me walking out of the office, but we're moving forward on things. The county airport. The county airport is currently seeing an airport realignment project. It's gone through its first phase. It'll be done by 2017. 90% of the money is coming from the feds, 5% from the state. The rest is our local share. So what is the problem here? You see the Walk Hill River here at the end of the runway. This is notoriously flooding over. Not good for business if you're landing planes. So we are doing an alignment project that will move us over here and get us out of this flood area and give us the space we need to land planes. So what is that going to do? What's the after effect going to be? It's going to be allow us to market ourselves more to corporate jets and different types of facilities, which are utilizing and renting that facility. Also, hopefully Charlie shows us some love with some casino traffic as well. So I look at this as a positive move for Orange County. Our county clerk, Annie Rabbitt, very big, significant part of our team. She's really the face of Orange County. The people see her, interact with her office. So these are some of the things that she does and they're doing in her office. Implementing an e-record and e-file system, website redesign, which was for self-service, flexible hours, changing their hours, ready reference books online. You guys remember those. Those books were worth their weight in gold if you were a local elected official. You could turn your page and call whoever you need to do. Now those are online. The number of record transactions that she deals with, this is just the volume of people that she deals with every year. 53,000 for record transactions, over 200,000 for DMV. So, Annie, thank you very much for the work you do. So here's our fraud hotline in 2011, collecting dust. Here's our fraud hotline 2012, collecting dust. 2013, the spiders moved in, and now it's collecting cobwebs and dust. Now, people are calling to turn themselves in, and I'm going to get into this. Just follow me for a minute. We now, in Orange County, have a zero tolerance for welfare fraud, and that is due to the collaboration of these 4 agencies, led by the county DA, Dave Hoovler. Dave, stand up so everybody sees who you are. Thank you. So the DA, along with the Department of Social Services, Darcy's in the back. Darcy, please stand up. Where are you? You're hiding. Okay. Darcy, we had the sheriff before, and of course the FBI, they never stand up. They're just hiding in the crowd. Those 4 agencies working together have allowed us to start having these results, and it's going to get better this year too, even though they told me not to say that. $748,000, almost $1 million, $750,000, has been saved that would have been lost to people abusing the system. Investigations are up 62%. Voluntary recoveries have skyrocketed 880%. What does voluntary recoveries mean? Well, I'll tell you what they are. People are calling us saying, hi, we've been defrauding the system. How do we give you money to give them back? This never happens. And what does this do? This has a ripple effect to people that are abusing the system. We have an awesome team of workers in the Department of Social Services, in the DA's office, in the sheriff's office that are making this happen. So I really appreciate the work they're doing. And this is really staggering numbers, stuff that we could be proud of. Quality of life. Quality of life is a wide range of things that really answer why you want to be here as residents. So let's talk about some of those things. Seeker reform. One of the most controversial things going on in Orange County is the annexation going down in Monroe. Last year, the county asked for seeker reform, the environmental review process, to allow us and counties to be lead agency whenever a proposal would expand a municipal border by 10%. We got no answer from the state. The state failed to take action on this, and now you see an even more divided situation over there. Albany needs to act. This is Albany's responsibility. But let's keep going. Where can we fit in? What can Orange County do? Well, what we pledged to do last year and what we're doing now is we're holding our own secret forum. So when people the public wants to make comments from both sides of the issue, they have somewhere to go. They don't need to be worrying about snowstorms shutting them down and not being rescheduled. This will be led by Dave Church. Dave Church is the Orange County planner and probably one of the most respected planners in the state. He used to head up their association. So what are we going to do with this secret process? Well, we're going to create our own record of environmental impacts, all that relate to the annexation, whether it's from social service costs, sewer, water, transportation, every other issue on there, and we'll be able to have our own seat at the table and make sure every issue is addressed. Environmental matters. Orange County preserved about 100 acres of property on the Glenmere Lake area. That's going to coincide with the 695 acres that the county, the Glenmere Preserve has now. This is an important water resource for Florida and an important environmental resource and recreational facility for that side of Orange County. So I was going to say Chester to take my supervisor hat on, but it's a very popular recreational facility for fishing and things of that nature. It's a positive move. In Deer Park this year, Orange County now has a emergency access point on the Delaware River that's now going to allow not only first responders to be able to have access to the Delaware, but allow people to have recreational access. Good, positive things. Next week, the Orange County Department of Parks is going to be presenting to the legislature plans and updates on how we can move forward on expanding the Heritage Trail. The Heritage Trail is the second most popular attraction in Orange County. This is good, positive stuff. My wife and I and our family spend much of our time we live on the Heritage Trail. This is good, positive stuff, and it's time for Orange County to move this to the next level. So, speaking about moving to the next level, let's talk about public transportation. One of the things that we need to do is we need to establish and produce a modern public transportation system. I'll give him a shout out because it's one of the important issues to my friend Mike Sweet, and we've talked about this from Warwick. Having a good public transportation system. The Newburgh area bus service expansion was announced last December. This doubled the amount of buses and cut the wait times in half. But what we're also going to do this year is we're going to put together a transportation task force. This is going to be made up of community leaders. It's going to be made up of transportation experts and members of the public to tell us how we can better change the system to make sure that it's better utilized. Expanding our services. These are for the seniors. This is a picture last week of, I think, probably one of the most infamous people in Orange County in a positive way, Bill Kaplan. You can't say no to Bill Kaplan. He has now turned the Newburgh Armory into a wonderful place in the city of Newburgh. Jimmy Kulisak's in the picture with me, as well as Walden Mayor Brian Marr and our own Deputy Commissioner of Office of the Aging and the Commissioner of Office of the Aging. So what does this mean? What is this ribbon about? So in this building, the Armory in Newburgh, which has been now transformed to a very popular place for all different types of walks of life, young, old, and all different types of backgrounds, is now going to be an office for the Orange County Office of the Aging, and it's going to be manned by volunteers from the Mount St. Mary College. So what does this do? This now opens up another door for our Orange County seniors to have access to the benefits and the things that we have to offer. So here's a couple of things that we have on here. Some of the things that we've already started doing is reaching out through a massive outreach program to seniors to let them know what's available. One of the things is nutrition, transportation, healthcare, veterans. One of the biggest groups of people that are taken advantage of are seniors. Dave Hoovler can tell you all about it. These are the type of things we're going to do. I skipped over community development, but I will tell you, I am proud that I signed in the last month 2 applications for brand new senior housing projects in Orange County. These are headed up under Richie Mayfield's office in community development. These are positive things as our aging population now is going into and has a higher need for senior housing. We're going to be able to facilitate that. So let's talk about our veterans. There you got the former commissioner of Veterans Affairs and the new one, Christian Farrell, and myself and my daughter in the middle. So last year, we returned the annual Independence Day Spectacular to Orange County, a free salute to veterans, paid for by Suburban Propane. What does that do? It shows the veterans some respect. okay? It's a day for them to come out and have fireworks, have some live music, spend some time with your family, be treated specially, special parking, the whole 9 yards. It's a first step in giving them some type of respect for what they've done for us. It's also, the next thing we did is we had the Veterans Resource Fair, which connects veterans to providers, very successful with higher numbers of participants. Just in the last few weeks, we had a town hall meeting in this room with the VA that came over from Castle Point and all over the place, met with veterans face to face to talk about issues that they're having, good, bad, and ugly, good positive things. Next thing that's coming up, the partnership, I think the Chamber and the construction contracts, a whole bunch of groups, and our Veterans Affairs Department are all moving forward on a Veterans Job Fair. It's going to be held in the next few months at Orange County Community College campus in Middletown. This is going to connect veterans with local employers to put them to work. If you don't know this, one of the biggest groups of unemployed people in American society in the young age bracket, 20 to 40, are the returning veterans from the last 10 plus years of war. So this is a positive direction that we're going in Orange County. I mentioned Montreat as one option, but there's other employers in Orange County that are also looking to hire these men and women. So good, positive stuff. Community heroes. So Nick, I called my friend Nick Satara. Nick, please stand up before I embarrass you. So Nick is one of the principals at Cosmos Restaurant Pizza Group. You know them by their delicious food. I called him up a little over a year ago, and I said, I called him up on a day and I said, I need 50 pizzas from you for free at 1 o'clock. And he said, first of all, he goes, oh, is somebody coming here, the president, a movie star, what's going on? I said, better. I got 130 people that are leaving Orange County from our Orange County Army National Guard Center that are going to Afghanistan, and we need to send them off in the right direction. So Nick was there on hand. I picked them up with his staff, and all these young men and women were able to have a good meal before they shipped out. Thank you, Nick. I'm happy to say, and I said that I reported this last year because ShopRite also showed them some love before they left too about a possible proper send-off. So what happened with them? They went to Afghanistan. I'm proud to say this is last Sunday. That's Christian Farrell and myself with the members of the 1569 Transportation Company all came back from Afghanistan safe and sound. Good stuff. So let's talk about fighting crime. This is then candidate for County Executive Newhouse, the then candidate District Attorney Dave Hoovler, as well as the the sheriff hiding in the back, as well as many police chiefs in Orange County. We made a pledge to make fighting crime one of our top priorities. So we campaigned on protecting families. Let's talk about one community that we think about when we talk about crime, unfortunately. And let's talk about what's happened in the last year there. We see an 80% reduction in homicides, a 15% reduction in rape, 17% reduction in robbery, 10% reduction in burglary, 14% reduction in larceny, 10% decrease in auto theft. And this is not a fluke, guys. I want to hand out, one guy's in the back room. Danny, stand up, I see you. My friend Dan Cameron. Dan is the police chief in the city of Newburgh, probably one of the toughest jobs in law enforcement in the area. He's a Chester boy. I knew him for a long time. He's a good guy, and he's doing a great job there. Along with the district attorney, the sheriff, other law enforcement resources, we are able to reverse the negative trend that you've seen in Newburgh. This is good, positive stuff, not for Newburgh, for Orange County, the whole region. So thank you to everybody who's involved on that. Let's talk about Narcotics Crackdown. It's impossible to read or watch anything on TV without talking about the heroin epidemic and what drugs are doing to our community. So last year, Orange County started its own countywide narcotics task force made up of the Orange County Sheriff, Orange County DA, and local law enforcement. They conducted 4 sweeps in last year alone, 1 sweep this year, and this is what the results are. 142% increase in illegal drug prosecutions, 110% increase in county court felony narcotic filings, and over $4 million worth of narcotics seized, much of that from heroin. So these are good things. When I mention cracking down on narcotics, I can't do it without mentioning our cooperation with mental health and treatment. This is something I don't know that has gotten the attention that it has in the past. But we are trying to make sure that the people don't just go to jail. We want to make sure they get treated, they want to get fixed, we want to help families out. And we are working very close with the Department of Social Services, Mental Health, with Darcy on board, and we're trying different things on ways to try to help people get cured, how to get them help, rather than just incarceration. So you have both ways with the sheriff, and you have it with the district attorney and with the law enforcement and myself. We care about these individuals. It's not just about locking them up. Thank you. So let's talk about juvenile justice program. In 2014, I made a commitment to try to improve the cooperation between the county attorney's office, the district attorney's office, probation, and local schools. I see our probation director here, Derek. Of course, I mentioned Dave Hoover, and our county attorney, Langdon's here. And obviously our school districts. We got together and we tried a pilot program. And walk with me on this. We directed it for Newburgh, and we looked at diverting at-risk juveniles from jail time and towards community services. 75% of the families involved went willingly. This has now stopped the revolving door of kids going back to jail, and not one juvenile has been rearrested since we started this pilot program. So in 2015, we're going to expand this throughout Orange County. This is how you get things done. Bullying. I don't think I need to emphasize this more than I do, but unfortunately it is still a major issue in Orange County and American society. In 2014, folks, we did a youth survey with 25% of those questioned said that they were subject to bullying. 34 recorded that they were feeling depressed throughout the past year. These are real issues that we're facing. 1 out of 4, 1 out of 3. Bullying is not acceptable in Orange County. So what can we do with Orange County government to address this? Number one, we need to raise awareness. Number two, we need to show that education is a key, educating the people that are involved here. And we need to let the people know that it's not their fault. Kids, they're not their fault to be abused. They should seek help. So one of the things we're doing, and it's another epidemic in society, is suicide. So last year we announced that we were going to do a suicide app, one that you can use for your Android, your iPhone. We are now launching this app. And what does this do? And I'll give you an example. About a year and a half, my niece came home from high school, a senior in high school in Orange County, and she told my family we were having dinner. One of my friends, I think, is suicidal, sending me text messages. What do you think we should do? Or what does this mean? I am embarrassed to say that many of us that were sitting there were like, I don't know. We tried to act and do our parenting thing. If you're not as well versed in it, you might not know exactly what to say or do. And in that type of situation, those individuals are more fragile than ever. So we went and looked at what other counties are doing. Ulster County, Dutchess County, Albany County. They have a suicide app. That's what everybody's doing today. If you're not with it, I hate doing it. I'm doing it myself too. So what does it do? The suicide app gives you easy information, easy access to help, numbers, people to call. So whether you're a victim that's feeling suicidal or feeling bullied, or if you're somebody that's friends with somebody, or if you're a parent, and even more importantly now, we even have a separate app, part of that, for veterans. So there's no excuse that we can get the word out and get the help to the people that need. So this is all good stuff. We're launching that now. Thank you. So these are articles that Steve Israel writes every year. Every year he writes an article about kids being hungry. It's embarrassing that we have to even talk about that in American society. Here's 2012. Here's 2014 again. So when I was at a Chamber of Commerce breakfast about a year and a half ago, United Way spoke, and they spoke about 1 out of 4 kids in Orange County, as well as the Hudson Valley, goes to bed hungry every night. That's a national number. That's an embarrassing number for the United States. So what we did is I did something different recently. Instead of just grabbing the department heads and saying, what's wrong with this? I grabbed about a dozen people that work for the county in different types of aspects of county social services, for instance. Youth, aging, mental health, and I brought them in a room with the department heads, but I said, I want to hear from you. If you were the department head, if you were the county executive, you're working on the front line with these kids, you're dealing with adults, you're dealing with people with mental illness. When you go home at night, do you feel good? Are you missing people? The people that are falling through the cracks, how can we address them? One of them, all of them had great answers and great recommendations, which we're going to be implementing, but one of them had really hit home with us. She talked about the gap in food pantries. She talked about the gap in the availability of food that Orange County gives out on a weekly basis to kids. They're missing toothbrushes if they need them. They're missing aspects of different types of meals. Sometimes on a weekly basis, this is happening, and we are changing that. I am happy to say that I budgeted $300,000 last year with the legislature's support, and we are going to use that this year to close that gap to fight childhood hunger. It's embarrassing to let kids go hungry, and we should not let kids in Orange County go to bed hungry. So no more. Here we go. Everybody, I should have seatbelts on for the next segment of things I'm going to be presenting. Powerful stuff. Domestic violence, sexual assaults, we don't usually hear them talked about by elected officials, but we're going to talk about them today. The district attorney, myself, the sheriff, Department of Social Services, mental health, every Orange County agency, the legislature, we are dedicated to fighting domestic violence and sexual assaults. Last year, the legislature embraced my plan to consolidate the two departments, DSS and mental health. We've now leveraged some of those savings. They go back to the taxpayer in our general fund. Some of those monies we can allocate to important agencies that help not only the victims, but also help prevent and treat some of these crimes. So let's talk about them. Safe Homes provides a safe haven for some of the victims of these horrific crimes. The Rape Crisis Program in Orange County handles at least 250 individuals, sometimes more every year. They are literally the only nonstop place that handles men and women that are assaulted in probably one of the worst times of their lives. They also are the only resource for educating law enforcement and first responders. They are grossly underfunded. They are grossly in need of help, and we're going to start filling that gap this year and taking responsibility as a county to make sure that they have everything they need to take care of those people. Let's talk about the Emergency Operations Center, where we are right now, the 911 Center. So Orange County earned a perfect score last year for the first time in 15 years in emergency preparedness. This should make you feel proud. The men and women here are incredible. We handle in this building, right across, right behind that wall, there is all the call takers. Right now they're taking 911 calls around Orange County. 250,000 calls last year. So what does this mean? Why is this important to you? So hold on, here we go again, all right?
And the other hand under her neck and tilt her head back. Okay, all right.
What you just heard here was a live 911 tape in Orange County. This was not produced in a Hollywood movie. So this could be you coming home and your loved one being unconscious, your husband, your wife, your son, your daughter. What do you do? Whether you know CPR or not, you need to call help. You call 911 for help. I am proud of the work that goes on here. I just told you the amount of calls we do here. That was just one example of what they do. This young lady, Karen Zimmerman. Karen, please stand up. Thank you, Karen. Karen was one of the call takers. She was the call taker on there, talking the person through a crisis. And can you imagine talking to somebody? They taught people not only how to do CPR, how to deliver babies. Incredible stuff. And Karen, thank you so much for what you did there. Also, I'd like to highlight Joanne Corso. Sorry. Joanne is the lady that was on the other side of the phone. That's incredible. So, what happened that day? What happened that day? Joanne's daughter was not breathing. She was able to save her daughter's life with the help of this 911 operator. And I'm proud to say, that's quite impressive. And now I am proud to say that her daughter is now has renewal on life and is now having a baby coming this year. That's positive stuff, folks. That's good stuff that's happening here. So here's a picture of my family. The best one we had of us all together was a Christmas photo, but anybody that works in county government that interacts with the county exec's office on a regular basis knows that my kids are in the office on a regular basis. Sometimes it's the only quality time I get to spend with them. But we have a lot of fun, and that's what we do this for my family's future, for your future, to make a better Orange County. We have great people that work here. We have good legislators. I think we have a good team here. We're just like any other family. Sometimes we have disagreements. Like Steve said, the worst ones make the front lines. The best ones, like I just told you, what Karen just did, and what she worked on, you never hear about that. And that's why I'm going to make sure we change that, Karen. So, I was with Colonel LaBarge last week from, he runs the 105th Air Wing at Stewart Airport. He's an air guy, I'm a Navy guy, but we had to talk about an aircraft carrier. He said, how's the county going? I said, it's like turning around an aircraft carrier. He said, it takes a long time, right? I said, yes. He goes, but you can't turn too quick or you lose all the stuff off the top of it. And that's what we're doing in Orange County government today, folks. We're turning it and we're heading in the right direction. We're not out of the storm, but we're heading in the right direction. We have a lot of work to do. And I just want to leave you with this one quote. This is a quote from one of the military units that the United States has. The difficult we do at once, the impossible takes a little bit longer. So last year was a tough year. That was a difficult year. When have you ever heard of $30 million in spending cut? $25 million that you had budget you didn't have to spend. The smallest workforce without any layoffs. These are good positive directions we're heading in. By the way, that's the quote from the Seabees. So I appreciate everybody being here tonight. Orange County is in a great shape. We're heading in the right direction, and it's because of everybody here supporting each other. So I look forward to 2015 and beyond, and it's an honor to be your county executive. Have a great night, and thank you for coming tonight. Thank you. Thank you.